What is up, you people, and welcome to another episode of What Magician's Podcast? That Magician Podcast. That is right. I am here today. My name is Tyler Lunsford with my co-host,
Gabo Torres.
and today we're going to be talking about something slightly different than what we said last week. We said that we were going to be talking about the creative process last week, and we decided that while we are passionate about that, we want to talk about that at some point. We want to talk about something else that maybe doesn't get talked about as much on a podcast or in a magician podcast, and that is something that we think is something that's prevalent in today's magic retail business. What is that? Well, today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about oversaturation. And is the magic retail business oversaturated? Is the magic community oversaturated with new releases? And
Do you want to explain what we mean about that?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll go and talk about that real quick. So if you don't know what oversaturated means, it means basically, is there too much, right? Is there too many magic releases that all the other ones just kind of get watered down and to where you just forget about it? Like, we can talk about the shelf life of products and stuff like that. But when you think about it, is the magic community oversaturated? Are there too many magic releases? And is that a positive thing or is that a negative thing if there is? And the short answer, to me, is yes. I'll tell you that right now. It's oversaturated. Like, we don't need a 30-minute podcast to actually get into talking about, is it oversaturated? Now,
I
Gabo,
mean, it always has been saturated. You
yeah,
know?
exactly. It's always had a ton of match releases, and I think in the past, always is in like the past many years, but in the past like few years, I don't know, just something about, I think it's the digital era too. Like, people can release magic now because the internet is just such a normal thing, and it doesn't take a magic company anymore to release a magic trick if you really don't want to work with one. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, but I think the people who is responsible for this is actually the magic companies because they are actually this is the new normal, like we're gonna release like how many product they release every week. I don't know, like in general, how much would you say?
I know what Murphy's releases two tricks every week, right? And then like at least two tricks every week. That's like that are like featured. Like Mondays and
Yeah,
Fridays they put new releases. But Murphy's is always stocking new stuff, every day.
yeah. So and also other companies like Penguin Magic releasing downloads from
Exactly.
independent other companies, Theory 11, Illusionist, any other
Yeah.
company.
No, you're right.
So I
What were
but
you
I
saying?
think they they are the ones who are making normal the amount of releases per week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like 20 years uh, 20 years back, this magic community was not like this. So,
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Penguin releases what, a couple tricks every week?
uh, I, I mean, I got a penguin email like pretty much every day.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
not
Penguin sends an email every day, absolutely. I think some of the stuff they just try to bring up old stuff, but yeah, they release a couple or few things every week.
like 50 and 50, like 50% maybe new releases and 50%
Yeah,
old stuff.
I could see that. I
But
think that's pretty accurate. And it's
I,
not to say that the magic that gets released is bad. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that, like, there are a lot of them that come out, and is it oversaturated? Like, yes, I think it is.
what do you think is happening? Like, why is this happening?
I mean, I think that one thing is, obviously, magic companies are not on the same schedule with each other, right? They're their own company, they're their own entity, and they're not releasing things based off of another company's schedule. So I think that's kind of also the thing because, if you look at some companies, like Abstract Effects, I have a review show with them, and they release what, a new trick every month, maybe? Like, if you average it out every month. what would you say, or every other month? I don't know, right? Every month,
maybe.
maybe every month, every other month. But like if you look at Penguin, a bigger company who is putting out, a couple or a few tricks every week, and then Illusionist puts out a trick every week or two tricks every week, or then you have Theory 11 that puts out a trick a week or every couple weeks or a month or whatever, and then Vanishing Ink does the same thing. And I think part of the problem is just that there's no way to get all these companies on a schedule, and
But
also by that
I mean,
token,
don't you think that, I don't know if you think this way, but sometimes like when you get a magic company release an effect, and maybe like after a few minutes of that release, you get another email of another company like releasing something else. Maybe not, maybe the next day or something like that, or the
yeah,
next hour. So I think like they don't have the communication to release effects, but I think they are like watching other companies like they are ready to release stuff. Like they got stuff on the calendar, and if the magic company release something, they're gonna say like, okay, it's time for put this out.
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I'm sure they have stuff ready to go, like ready to launch. And when they see a company put out a magic trick, they're like, oh, well, if we release ours, and ours is $20 and theirs is $20, and they think their trick's better or something, or maybe their trick's like $25 and the company's is 30 or whatever, and they're going to want to spend less money, and we think we have a cooler trick. So maybe it's also a competition thing. Keep releasing stuff and see who has the best magic trick.
There is a competition thing
Yeah,
that I think most of the magic companies like they are ready for it. Like I know they got stuff like big magic companies have all the releases for the next maybe 6 months or maybe a year. And but like you say, I think there is a competition. Like if this magic company release something, they're gonna think like, oh, should we release this? Because they
yeah.
already released this.
No, that's
So
fair. I think that's a great idea. I mean, yeah, competition is such a thing, and yeah, I guess it kind of drives this oversaturated magic community. But at the same time, like by the same token, we're not saying that necessarily it's a bad thing or it's a good thing, because I mean, let's talk about the shelf life of a magic trick real quick. Like what the shelf life of one trick is, maybe what 3-4 weeks.
what do you mean? Like what's that?
Like, so shelf life is in like how long it's relevant, like how long people actually think about this trick is probably what, how long is it popular, maybe 3 weeks.
Depends. Maybe
On an average.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's like once the pre-sale date happens, and then people wait a couple weeks for reviews to come out, and then once those reviews come out, they decide if they want it or not. But I mean, after that like first month of it being out, like first 2 months maybe, um,
Yeah.
it's not like that relevant anymore. I mean, I've seen it with reviews that I've done. Like I could do a review on the same trick, but maybe do it like 2 months later than after it was released, and it's gonna get less views. Like probably because people have already bought it and made up their mind, or didn't make it, or like or didn't buy it because they already made up their mind.
Yeah.
Do what?
Or people just forget about it. Like, it's
Yeah,
just,
exactly. I mean, or people are just like, oh yeah, that was a trick that came out, wasn't it? And yeah, you're right. They just forget about it, and it's just kind of like what is the core issue? And I think, like you said, it's competition. It's people that are just want to get their stuff out there, which is fine. And I think we need to kind of segue into, like, now that we know that oversaturation in the magic industry is a thing, because it is, there's no doubt about it, right? But
yeah. I mean, it also that people need to make a living out of something, and some people are magic creators. So
exactly, and that's another thing is people do have to, like, that's a great point. People do have to make money off of this stuff, and so they're going to keep releasing stuff every month because they need a paycheck, because they need to put food on their table, which I mean, by that token, like I'm saying, if they're putting out good stuff, it's not really an issue, right? Because it's all good stuff that's coming out. And when you think about it, do you think that oversaturation in the magic industry is a good or a bad thing, or is it both? And like why?
I think I think it's between both.
I
I
think so
think
too.
um but yeah, I think it's both because like I told you, like a magician, a magic creator, like they need to pay bills or have food in the table, like you say. Um, but I think like there are magic creators that have been doing this for years. Like I think they are pro on this area. But I have seen lately, I mean not lately, but I have seen people like new magic creators trying to live out of magic releases, and the things they are releasing is like it's I think it's like not original at all,
Mm.
and I don't know how or why magic companies accept it. Like, okay, let's release this.
Yeah, no, you
And
have a point. I mean, with all these releases, does come the point of like it gets harder and harder to be original with the tricks you're creating.
I think that depends also. Like, I mean, I think it's more complicated than what it looks because
Hmm.
if you get to use like what magic releases it's happening right now, like your mind is gonna just think about like those ideas. Like you're feeding the mind with the same food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's up to you. Like I think you can go out of the box to study all the new like all the magic releases. Okay, like this month they released this or this, or this year they released this. It's up to you to say like, okay, so this is what magic creators are putting out. That's not what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's up to you to be different. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree. And oh, you can continue.
I don't know. It's up to you.
No, I was going to say, like, my opinion on it. Is it a positive or is it a negative thing? I think I agree with you. Like, it is both. Like, it's a positive thing, as in, like, there's more magic being out there, so you have more to choose from, so you can decide, what you want to put into your show. Because the more magic that there is to choose from, like the more variety you have, which variety usually is a good thing because you can be different, you can have a different trick in your show than someone else does, which also comes along with creating your own magic. But still, if you're not creating a ton of magic and you're just buying the stuff that comes out, there is a lot to choose from, which is a good thing. And in the digital world, like I was saying earlier, if you want to put something out, you can do it. You don't have to rely on a magic company to film your instant download anymore, because you can film it with your phone and you can sell it, or you could submit it to a magic company. But that's also why it's kind of oversaturated, because a lot of people can do this stuff on their own and they don't need a magic company anymore. Which magic companies are great for funding certain projects, but for some projects you might not need the funding of a magic company. It's always good to get their traffic and the customers that they already have. But if you're really thinking about it, like, people can really just release instant downloads on their own if they really wanted to. Like, that's why new tricks, I think that's not the only reason, but it is a reason why new tricks are coming out all the time, because people can release their own stuff too, plus the stuff that the magic companies release.
But I think like you need, if you are new in this, if you want to like, if you're a new creator, I think it's good for you to go to a magic company because you're gonna learn a lot about what to produce, like what is good enough, what is bad, what is good, like what they want. Like you're gonna get a lot of experience working with a magic company, like, and then I would say you're good to release stuff on your own.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely. I know, I agree. I think you should go to a magic company first and learn more about like what you're putting out, because you can learn a lot from putting out stuff with a magic company, and you also, like I said, get their already existing traffic, like the customers that they already have. You're going to be getting that. So as a starting creator, yes, it is good to go to a magic company, but I think it really doesn't. What's the word I'm looking for? I think it contributes to oversaturation that people can do this on their own if they really want to.
Do you think magic companies should be more picky about approving or releasing magic?
That is a great question. Man, I don't know why I just said but I'm gonna try to stop using my fillers as much. But in all honesty, I think they could be more picky. But I think that the reason they aren't as picky is because, hey, if it's original enough and we can make some money off of it, and we can give it to the magic community, we might as well.
But I mean, I have seen some releases that are not um, original enough, and they still approve it.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know if you,
I get that. I understand. I think where that comes from is companies just want to make a quick buck. Either that or they didn't do their research, but I think that part of it is money.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they are big companies. I'm pretty sure they do the research. They know
You
what
think
they
so?
want.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that part of it, like I said, I think it's money. They want to get a quick cash grab. Get some quick sales. Make a little cool trailer that's flashy and shows some really cool magic that you can do. But.
Talk about that in another podcast. Like
Oh
talk
my
about
goodness, yeah.
traders and
Yes.
their. They sometimes most of them have this music of dubstep or something like wow, and this really like cut out the frames.
Oh
We
yeah.
will talk about.
Yes, that is definitely an episode that we need to write down because we should how to make a good magic trailer or what makes a good magic trailer or are magic trailers honest or whatever.
Yeah, we should do that.
So,
Um, yeah.
no, what were you gonna ask?
No, I'm just reading some question about is it good or bad? We already talked about that. Why is happening? What's happening?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a way to fix it, or do you think it needs to be fixed?
I mean, there's a way to be fixed to fix it, but it's not gonna happen. Like the answer, like the solution of this is simple, just to be more picky. Um, but it's not gonna happen. Like you say, people need money, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, people, creators, the magic companies, they either want or they need the money. And I don't think that oversaturation in the magic world is going anywhere, at least anytime soon. And honestly, I don't see it going anywhere in the foreseeable future, if we're being honest.
I think it's gonna keep coming worse for real.
That's a, yeah, man, that's a good point. I mean, as time
How do
goes on,
you think the average of releases per week is gonna be different in 5 years?
yeah, I think it might go up. It's definitely not going down, I'll tell you that. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Like, it's definitely going to go up. I mean, as new companies are on the rise, new creators are coming, like more releases are going to happen, and I think it's just going to become more oversaturated. I mean, I experienced this as a reviewer, right? Like I'm always trying to review the hottest magic tricks or the latest ones or ones that people want to see, and it gets hard for me as a magic reviewer, as a content creator because I'm back when I was trying to buy more of the magic than I do now, because I do get a good amount sent to me now to review, which is really nice, and I'm really grateful for that. But back when I was funding every single video by myself, do what?
Like that come with experience. Like now that you have more experience with your channel and everything, now you're getting those products
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. Which is really nice. I mean, you put the time into something, and then you'll get rewarded out of it if you're doing the right things. But as a magic reviewer, it takes a lot to keep up with the latest releases and reviewing them and getting those reviews out on time and I try to get my reviews out within a month or two of the product, going up, just because
One of
I
the
don't want.
reviews like
Yeah, I try to get the reviews, within a month or two. Like, yeah, because I want to get them up so they're still like relevant. And I think as a customer, it gets really expensive. Like buying all this magic that comes out, people spend so much money on magic tricks. Like, they really do. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this. I know I have. Like, I'm sure we all have, where we're just like, oh my goodness, I've bought like so many magic tricks in the past month, and just buying that one $10 download sounds fine, but then you buy that one $10 download again later that week for a different company, and then you buy that $30 trick, which isn't bad as $30. But then once you add in the $20 you already spent, it just piles on top of each other. Like the releases that Palin comes out with, $10 downloads, a couple times a week. That's $20 a week if they release two, and then times that by four. That's $80 a month that you're spending on these new Magic downloads. Like, it's really hard to keep up with, or at least if you're trying to afford a lot of different Magic tricks, it's really
yeah,
tough to spend all that money,
for sure, yeah.
which kind of
So
shows how much money the Magic industry is making, I think.
yeah, and also I think well, nah, I changed my mind. I'm not gonna talk about it.
No, talk
I
about
was
it.
gonna no, I was gonna talk about like how like the percent of if you're a magic creator and you're gonna release something with the company. Like I was gonna talk about the percent the company take from you, and
Okay.
the percent
Oh,
and
well,
how that changed. Like 5 years ago, it wasn't the same. Like 5 years ago, magic creators
we're getting more.
will yeah, they will get more money for their effect, and right now it's not the
Yeah.
same scenario.
No, I agree. I think that's a topic for a different episode, like you were saying. Maybe hold off on that one for something else when we talk about releasing Magic and how much money you actually make. Because, like you said, though, the is the reason that creators have got. It feels like, okay, if we're being
And you
honest.
or yeah, that's better. I think like the green screen is going. Yeah, that's
Oh, okay,
better.
sorry. Um, if we're being honest, I think oversaturation in a way it might have hurt royalties for creators. Maybe because when you put out more Magic, are you selling as many units because there's so much Magic to choose from? So did the companies have to lower the royalties from the creators in order to make more money because they're not selling as many units because there's so much Magic to choose from?
I think, but I mean that's one of the problems. But I think it's also piracy.
Mm,
Piracy has rise up in the past years.
yeah.
So I think that's also one of the reasons why maybe they are giving less money to magic creators.
Yeah. I mean, that could be one too. I mean, Magic piracy is just, yeah, that's honestly another topic for another video too. Like, that's just so much you can dive into there because, like, why? I'm not even gonna get into it. I could rant about Magic piracy for 30 minutes. Like, it's such a bad
Damn,
thing,
right?
and we'll rant on it one day. We'll make an episode about it, and yeah, I think we can make an episode about that one day. If and like we said, like if you have any ideas for episodes, comment them down below because we would love to get your feedback on what you thought of this episode and what you thought of like future episodes. Is in like comment some topics for us to talk about because we would love to get your input and ideas. We have several ideas written down that we're going to be filming in the next few months, but we do want to hear your input and hear what you have to say. But yeah, Gabber, do you have anything to add to this oversaturation topic? Final words? What do you think about it?
And I think we are in the same page. Like I think we think we're good and bad, right?
Yeah, it's a mixture. Is the Magic community oversaturated with releases? Yes. Is it a bad thing? I don't know if a bad thing is the correct thing to call it, but I don't know if a good thing is the correct thing to call it either. I think it has disadvantages and advantages. It really just depends on what you're looking at and what you want to get. Like you have more to choose from, but at the same time, you're gonna forget about a product because you actually released that. After I saw that trailer for it, one week, I completely forgot about it. So it's pros and cons. It is.
I think we can also agree that like in the near future, like this is not getting any better. Like it's gonna keep getting more saturated. That's what we talked before.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes in the future and how oversaturated it becomes, like how even more oversaturated it becomes. And is it, is it going to stay the same? But I feel like it's going to go up. It has to. I mean, like I was saying earlier, more creators, more releases, more companies, they're going to want to release more, and it's a matter of time to see where it takes us. So, we'll see how it goes. I wonder in the next few years how it'll get, and if it'll get much worse or if it'll get, stay around
Yeah,
the same, or yeah.
I think like it's just gonna be like more saturated in a few years from now.
Exactly. I don't know. But with all that said, we're about to hit 25 minutes, or we might have just hit 25 minutes. But I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Gab and I both appreciate it. We really do. And like we were saying just in the last couple of minutes, if you do have any feedback or if you like these episodes, definitely please let us know, because we want to know if we should keep doing these. Is this something you like to watch? Maybe you're just having your morning breakfast and you're listening to us talk about Magic, or maybe you're eating dinner or whatever. But, if you are eating dinner, I hope you're enjoying your dinner right now. But thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. I've been Tyler Lunsford.
Gabo Torres.
It's the second episode, folks. We're working on the outro. And hopefully we'll see you in another episode of That Magician Podcast very soon. See ya.